Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the 2020 U.S. presidential Democrat primary and the massive field of 15 candidates that are running to take on, to be the one person who takes on Donald Trump in the general election. And we're going to talk about that field of candidates through the structure of Star Wars, all the Star Wars films and Star Wars characters and Star Wars vehicles, all right? And now, why would we do this? Well, 15 candidates is a huge, absolutely massive amount of candidates. And the reason we would do this is we want to actually have a solid understanding of where these candidates are positionally, and I want to be able to bracket them in some of their shared attributes, right? And so right now, that pack of 15 candidates is very unwieldy. And so this Star Wars mentally structuring them based on my knowledge of Star Wars is really helping me to understand positionally where these candidates are. And I wanted to share that structure with you, this mental structure, this organizing structure. And I think this is worth, doing because that's an unwieldy group of people. It's such a large number. But this is the presidential election is the big show. We only do this every 4 years. It's special. We want to understand who wants to be our leader. We want to understand how the Democrat Party is progressing forward, those kind of things. All right, so let's get into it. So the first structure bracket is we're gonna assign a character or a vehicle to each candidate, and we're gonna do it based on their position for most loved, least loved, and central. Right? So the most loved Star Wars series is the original series. The least loved Star Wars series is the prequel series. And the central, the one that has both love and unlove activity surrounding it, is absolutely the sequel series, all right? So the originals would be like Lost Hope and A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. The prequels would be Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then there's one more in there. And then the sequel series is Last Jedi, Force Awakens, those films, okay? All right, so let's talk about the candidates that are most loved. And by the way, I've taken all 15 of them, and there's five for the original series, the most loved. There's 5 for the prequel series, the least loved, 5 candidates. And there's 5 candidates for the central. Which is, the one right in the middle, which is the sequel series, as far as the central in that it has people who love it and people who don't love it. All right. Okay. So let's group our candidates for the most loved series, the original series. These candidates are the ones that have the best shot at winning the primary, the one that are getting the most juice from the press, the ones that have the most action surrounding them. So let's go through them. First and foremost, my favorite candidate is my absolute favorite Star Wars character of all time, which is Chewbacca, right? I really, really love the character of Chewbacca. There's so much I like about him, and I think he fits perfectly with Yang. So why does Yang fit with Chewbacca? Well, one, Chewbacca is, to me, the most selflessly helpful, right? He's with Han. He's a loyal friend. He's a capable combatant. He's a great pilot. And everybody in the original series, especially in Star Wars, New Hope, everybody wants something. Leia wants to help the rebellion, and she wants to, become more powerful so she can help the rebellion. Han wants to get himself out of debt, keep the Millennium Falcon flying. Luke wants to get off Tatooine, and he just wants to get some adventure. But you know what Chewbacca wants to do? He wants to be helpful. He wants to keep his skills sharp. And he's the most selfless of all the characters in Star Wars. He's absolutely awesome. And he's awesome throughout the entire series. One of the biggest things is, I actually think when Chewbacca shot Kylo Ren in the hip, I think he actually aimed low on purpose because he had held, Ben when Kylo Ren was little, as a child, and that he just couldn't come to harm Kylo Ren because he was Han Solo's son. So Chewbacca is just the best. He's the most awesome character, right? And Andrew Yang is the most awesome candidate right now, right? And guess what? There's one more thing that absolutely links Yang perfectly to Chewbacca. And that is, Han Solo told C-3PO, let the Wookiee win, because if you don't let a Chewbacca win, he'll rip your arms out of your sockets, right? And Andrew Yang will definitely rip some arms out of sockets when he gets to be president. He is going against the robots, right? He will definitely rip arms out of sockets for robots. He is absolutely adamant to make sure he controls automation, and he is not a fan of robots, right? So there you go. Just like Chewbacca, Andrew Yang is dangerous to robots, right? Okay. All right. Kamala Harris, straight shooter, just like a real baller kind of person. Perfect match for Princess Leia. Kamala Harris is Princess Leia, right? Got that sports style blaster, always quick with quick with her words, knows the score, just, pure baller princess type in that, but actually a princess and a general, right? Princess Leia was so special, and then later General Leia. And I think Kamala Harris is a no nonsense, take charge person who really just gets out there and gets it done. Very much like Princess Leia. All right. Elizabeth Warren is Luke Skywalker, earnest, right? And I think, and also capable, and also Luke, where Luke is just a farmhand, who flew T-16 hoppers, skyhoppers, and then later really becomes a powerful Jedi. And I think Elizabeth Warren is on that arc, right? And I think she's started at the bottom and she's all the way at the top now. I really feel like Elizabeth Warren, you can think of her as Luke Skywalker. All right, let's talk about Pete Buttigieg. There we go. He is R2-D2, right? Surprising, right? Capable. There, and there when you need him, right? I think R2-D2 is a really good fit with Pete Buttigieg. All right, now, Beto O'Rourke. He is in the most loved bracket, right? And so what is he? Well, he's our first Star Wars vehicle, and he is an X-Wing, right? Very capable, looks great, dangerous, lots of firepower, lots of boost, right? But why is Beto O'Rourke a vehicle and not a character from Star Wars? Here's why. Beto O'Rourke is the first of the vehicle characters. And I am using vehicles to denote every low intersectionality candidate for the Democrats, because the Democrats have a lot of low intersectionality candidates. We're going to go through every single one of them. And I really feel like they are different, right? They function differently for the Democrats. The Republicans do not have this problem, right? So Beto O'Rourke, he should be, just a great candidate who everybody can vote for. But the Democrats, I don't think they can. They can't treat him like a normal candidate. And the reason why is he is low intersectionality, and the Democrats for many, many years have been really promising that they care about intersectionality, that intersectionality is part of who and what they are, and that they have really made collectively a large number of promises and put forward sentiment that they're going to be there for low intersectionality, for intersectionality people, right? And so the best way you do that is you show that you are going to elect an intersectionality or a high intersectionality candidate. And so I think all of the low intersectionality candidates really function in a different way. I'm not saying they can't win, but they really do function in a different way. So that is our most loved bracket. Andrew Yang, Chewbacca; Kamala Harris, Leia; Elizabeth Warren, Luke; Pete Buttigieg, R2-D2, and then Beto O'Rourke is an X-Wing. All right, let's talk about the least. Let's go to the central. Okay, the central group. So the central group is going to be specifically, the central group is the sequel films, right? So we'll jump right in. Cory Booker is Poe Dameron, right? Very, very, and one of the things that, Poe Dameron is really fiery. He's surprising. He's got a good sense of humor. He's quick on his feet with his words. And he's just a really awesome member of the resistance. And I think Cory Booker is an awesome, he is a really, really interesting, powerful person to have on the bench for the Democrats. I think he's really interesting. I think he lines perfectly with Poe Dameron. Kirsten Gillibrand is Vice Admiral Amelin Haldo. Gillibrand has that, that straight spine, I'm in command feel that Haldo had. And then Haldo, of course, destroyed a first order capital ship by just ramming her ship through it, right? And I think she's got and Gillibrand has some of that fighting spirit that Haldo displayed, right? Yeah, very much so. Tulsi Gabbard, Ray, and I think the reason why is she's got that vitality that Ray has. She's really got kind of a snapback comeback for different she's really kind of got a snapback comeback for when people, come at her. She's got a fighting spirit because she was literally a fighter, right? And I think Ray is literally a fighter because she grew up on, I think it was Jakko, that horrible Tatooine-like planet. And so, so I really think Tulsi Gabbard really slots with Ray. Hickenlooper is a low intersectionality candidate. He is a resistance ski speeder, the ones they used on Crate that tore up all that salt and you could see that blood red stone underneath. He's kind of rickety, kind of jangles around, but he's fast and he's got, and he's got some punch, right? And that's exactly what the ski speeders had, right? Sanders, absolutely. Sanders is a heavy bomber, right? He's a resistance heavy bomber. The ones where, I think it was, so, Rose Tico's sister, bombed that, Imperial capital ship with the resistance heavy bomber. Man, Sanders is a perfect, match for the resistance heavy bomber. And of course he is a low intersectionality candidate. All right. That is our entire bracket, right? For the central candidates, the candidates in the middle where some people love them, some people there's no love for them. So Cory Booker is Poe Dameron. Kirsten Gillibrand is Vice Admiral Amelin Haldo. Tulsi Gabbard is Ray. John Hickenlooper, he is the resistance ski speeder, the one from Crate. And then Bernie Sanders is the resistance heavy bomber. So you can remember that they're in that sequel section. People are just still decisioning on them. They're in the middle. All right. The least loved candidates of the 15. All right. Marianne Williamson is absolutely Queen Amidala, right? Very, very, has a royal bearing, and is really thinking a lot about peace and love, right? And really is not centered and focused on military might, just like Queen Amidala. Not her thing, right? Who's Amy Klobuchar? Amy Klobuchar is Qui-Gon Jinn, super dope lightsaber Jedi. Amy Klobuchar, I think she's got a lot to offer, just like Qui-Gon Jinn. But just like Qui-Gon Jinn, I don't think she's going to be around that long. As far as I think she's going to drop out of the primaries pretty soon. If not literally, figuratively in that, I don't think she's getting a lot of juice from anybody, from any of the media outlets. All right. Julian Castro. He is Jocasta Nu, the Jedi librarian, right? He actually thinks people care about housing and urban development and education. People care about those things, but not at the level to get you votes, right? It's just, that is not a first burner issue, right? And so Jocasta Nu was there. She had a lot of knowledge, but she wasn't a real main heavy hitter in the Jedi ranks. And I think Julian Castro, he's in these bottom brackets. It's not going well for him. Jay Inslee, he is a Republic attack gunship. He is one of those attack gunships that, we saw those clone troopers. They were dropped out and they had these open sides and they would kind of come in. They were almost like helicopters would land in Vietnam, and those Republic attack gunships, they would allow the clone troopers to kind of jump out and run out. So, of course, Jay Inslee is a low intersectionality candidate, and he is a Republic attack gunship. And last is John Delaney, and he is a Republic cruiser. Kind of slow, kind of plodding, right? But also lots of capacity, right? You can carry a lot of issues. And he is looking at a lot of issues, right? But of course, he is a low intersectionality candidate. So our least loved candidates, Marianne Williamson, Amidala, Queen Amidala, Amy Klobuchar, Qui-Gon Jinn, Julian Castro, Jocasta Nu, Jay Inslee is a Republic attack gunship, and John Delaney is a Republic cruiser. Okay. Now I got a couple special ones right for you, right? There are people who are in this election, who are in the primaries, who aren't in the primaries, right? People who are close to the orbit of the primaries. Well, we have those Star Wars story movies, right? Well, guess what? Jyn Erso, that's President Clinton, right? Michael Bloomberg, he is a U-wing from Rogue One, right? And also, of course, Jyn Erso was from Rogue One. And all right, let's talk about it. AOC is in this election, but she ain't in the election, right? AOC, I think every single 2020 Democrat primary is just thanking their stars that AOC is not old enough to run, because she would wipe the deck with them. Except Andrew Yang. I think he could push her back, but we'll see. Actually, we're never going to see, right? So who is AOC in these elections? Well, she is Yoda, man. AOC, she's got a flow like Dr. Dre. The cameras are glued to her face, right? And she just has capabilities that nobody else has, right? It's incredible, right? And I think she has some wisdom, just like Yoda, but she can also throw down, just like Yoda, like when he fought Count Dooku, and the other thing is you cannot count AOC out ever, right? She is a pint-sized force of nature, exactly like Yoda, right? And she's there just like in the series, right? Yoda was there physically, and then he was there as like a spirit ghost, right? And that's AOC. She is a spirit ghost in this election while she is physically in the House. I always want to call her a senator, but I know she's not a senator. She's a congressperson, right? So AOC is Yoda. That is the structure. Least loved, most loved, central series. Least loved, most loved, central candidates. That is a structure to understand all the candidates, and also a bracket for those low intersectionality candidates. Because I will tell you right now, I think they are a serious problem for the Democrats. If they lose, people are going to be upset. If they win, people are going to be upset. And so I put them in that vehicle bracket just so we can understand them a little better. I really feel bad for them in many ways, but I also understand why the Democrats are like, hey, we had 42 of those people. Maybe we don't need another one, so it's a really unique, unusual problem on the Democrat side. That is the mental structure to remember all 15 candidates that are currently in the Democrat U.S. presidential primary race, right? And that is the Star Wars mental structure to understand all of them and to understand where they are positionally and to give you some brackets to understand some of their shared attributes. Thank you very much for listening. I'd love to know what you think. Did I get any of them wrong? Are there some better Star Wars characters, better Star Wars vehicle matches? Let me know in the comments below. Have a wonderful day. Please consider liking and subscribing.